Stranger Stories.
I live in a moderately sized city in the north of England where I study at college. One thing about student houses in Britain is that they almost always have the front lounge converted into a bedroom, which is where I live. This means that I have a fairly big window that faces directly onto the street. There is a small part of the window at the top that opens to allow ventilation, which is maybe 10 centimeters tall. I never thought that anyone would be able to fit through, and I've always felt completely safe here, so I usually leave the window slightly open at night. Covering the window is a set of Venetian blinds, you know, the ones made of horizontal slats of wood that you can rotate with a pull cord. My set is white, which when combined with the streetlights outside means that you can see the silhouette of anyone who walks past the window even when the blinds are shut. Last night, I was incredibly hungover, so I went to bed quite early and left the window open as usual. Around 1 a.m., I woke up, as I sometimes do, and went to check my phone for the time. It was then that I realized I had woken up because I had heard a noise. The weighted end of the pull cord was hitting against the wooden blinds. This usually happens because of the wind, so I paid no attention to it. As I started to drift back to sleep, I looked at the blinds and saw the silhouette of two people against my blinds. I then saw a hand reaching through the window and pulling the cord out of the window. I sleep in the nude, so I didn't go over to the window, but I sat up in bed and waited for what happened next. The blinds suddenly opened, and two men in their late 20s, early 30s, wearing baseball caps, were pressed against the glass, looking in. One of them whispered, "I think they're awake," to which I shouted back, "What do you two think you're doing?" The two men immediately shut the blinds off and ran, shouting, "We're looking for someone else." That was the last I heard from them. I genuinely thought it was a dream until I saw the blinds cord was outside of the window. We had a break-in a few months ago, and my laptop was stolen. So I don't know if it was anything similar to that or who they could possibly have been looking for by sneaking through a window in the middle of the night. They clearly weren't expecting whoever it was to be an awake, hungover, angry rugby player. I live between two houses of just girls, so naturally I went to warn them about this that has happened. I will also be contacting the police later.
This happened in my freshman year of college. I was very excited to move into the dorms and meet my first ever roommate. About a week before school started, the dorms threw a fun little mixer party where everyone gets dressed up and meets their hallmates and dorm RAs. I got ready to go and asked Anne, my dorm mate, if she wanted to come along. She said she doesn't like people and doesn't want to go. I decided not to bother her and went alone. When I got back about 2 hours later, Anne was sitting on my bed facing the door. I felt really creeped out. She asked me where I had been for so long. It seemed like she was really angry with me. This was the first time I thought she was weird. Everything got worse after this first night. Anne started doing really weird things, like skipping her classes so she could wait for me outside my classes. She would draw pictures of me and leave them on my bed with notes saying they were for me. She's gone through my phone when I left it unattended. Anne would always stay home, despite me trying to get her to go out and do social things. My brother was a senior that year and attended the same college. He was living in an apartment about a 5-minute drive from the dorm and liked to host small parties. I invited Anne to one of his parties, and surprisingly she went. When we got home, she revealed to me that she had stolen a cup from his house as a souvenir to remember the night. I told my RA about this. However, because she said Anne was not doing anything threatening, I couldn't change rooms. One night I went to a late movie with a guy and my phone was off. When I turned it back on, Anne had called me 20 times and sent me 32 text messages. She was calling my mother and the cops saying I had gone missing. When I got home, Anne was sitting on my bed waiting for me. Throughout the semester, I started to notice random things, like my hairbrush. Random pairs of panties and clothes had gone missing. I decided to look in her drawers and found she had a few pairs of my worn underwear. Horrified, I went to tell my RA, but she said I could not prove they were mine, and I should not have gone looking in her drawers. I could not prove anything, and I had to live with this crazy girl. The whole weirdness of the situation climaxed one night. Anne had left a copy of the Old Testament on my bed. When I opened it, she had tied my hair collected off of my hairbrush into a cross with her hair. I knew it was our hair because my hair is jet black and her hair was a light blonde. Terrified to be in my room, I fled to my brother's house, leaving all my belongings behind. Later that night, I logged into my Facebook account and I had 40 new notifications. Anne had logged into my Facebook from my computer and tagged me in about 30 pictures. She had screenshots of random conversations I had with my friends and posted them on my wall, along with a few pictures she had taken of me. I showed these to the RA the next day, and she finally said I could change rooms. Fortunately, after the end of the semester, Anne got into an exchange program and moved to France, so I never had to see her on campus again.